Hi, it's me. Back with another Limbus company target extraction, and to be honest with you, it is the most important target extraction to ever exist in this video game. It is the Liu South Section 4 banner, including Rodion and Ryoshu. This is important because burn, and that's it. Actually, you don't need to worry about anything else in here. This is the burn banner, and I'm just so glad that we have burn. Dude, it's the best status effect. Rodia's the best character in the game, and so we now have the best ID in the game, and the one that you see on screen right now. In case you're wondering, the Liu is just my favorite association out of the bunch, in general. That's just me. And you will never convince me otherwise. So we're going to pull for them. And by pull, I mean pull. I'm going to do 20 pulls, 10 pulls. And if we don't get the 3-star, then I will get it using shards. But I will guarantee that I pull for the 2-star because I need to start getting shards again. So starting with our paid pulls, which are almost guaranteed to be nothing, because this game is a game. They're doing Ishmael target extraction today, too, which makes sense. I mean, they want to give us a chance to get Ardor Blossom Star along with all the very good burn stuff, right? Other cool thing is that the Liu is the is the 4th faction to have 6 IDs total. The first one was N Corp, then W Corp, and then Blade Lineage. So we have a full group now. Let's do our 10 pulls. If I could get Rodion just from pulls, that would also be sick, but the chances are slim to none, unfortunately.
훈련실에서 펼쳐지는 예술이 궁금했나?
That was bound to happen. Ishmael. Yeah, I only got one of her? Okay. This should just be a Liu banner. They should just put all the Liu identities on it. That would be cool. That's unfortunate. Alright, we'll just get it using shards.
역시 세상에서 제일 즐거운 건 쇼핑할 때라니까. 자, 또 뭐 먹으러 갈래?
She's perfect. There's nothing else to say.
부자. 귀따가 그게 시끄럽게만 굴 줄 알았는데 이런 쓸모 있는 기술을 다 알려주는. 마무리로 쓸만하겠어.
I mean, Ryoshu's cool, too. The Association's crest is a spark of flame, with the number 6 in it. Most ignorant laymen believe that it symbolizes the shape of flames bursting forth from our fists and feet. Oh, good, we're talking in the first person for once. But they're wrong. The flames are but byproducts of the weapons crafted and supplied to us by workshops. They're hardly fit to represent the true spirit of the Liu. The core value of Liu is that I've learned through my time here is that we scorch and burn everything to ashes. That we should always be ready to burn even our hearts and bodies like the very flames. That is how I've come to understand it. Most fixers are always looking for all kinds of ways to gain power. Minor augmentation procedures, unsightly and pointless enhancement tattoos, pouring every bit of on they make into those useless things just to survive in the city. How pointless of an endeavor it is. Such things are not the factors deciding who lives and who dies in a battle. Augmented body in lieu of the experienced mind to properly use them is no different from an automated training dummy. In other words, experience built up through endless training is an augmentation unique only to yourself, something that cannot be bought simply by shelling out money. Of course, expensive weaponry and an augmented body would certainly aid me in my quest for strength. But I don't like having everything handed to me on a silver platter like that. Doesn't the idea of martial arts and experience honed to their extremes, the point of becoming weapons on their own, set your heart on fire? To train is to carve the shape of my strength, to endlessly feed the flames of self-improvement. And sometimes I get the chance to taste the fruits of my labor, to prove to myself that it has been worth it. Flame burns from my fist. What a sensual production this is. But it's nothing but garnish, a side dish, or seasoning supplementing the main dish. What I truly appreciate is how much deeper my knife hand penetrates my foes. How much more powerful the speed and weight behind my strikes have become. I measure them by fighting these moving flesh dummies. And I begin to understand that my fiery blaze of training burns still. And that it's burning up every training dummy that dares to get anywhere near me without preparation. I've heard some refer to the Liu Association as nothing more than a big group of foodies. Heh, if I'm being honest, I abhor even being mentioned in the same breath as those fools. Don't talk about me like I'm one of them. While they were wasting their weekends away on their gastro adventures, I studied and honed myself. They really went with that, huh? While you were busy out eating a tasty lunch, I was honing my... I studied the fist. Like, come on. Why is Ryoshu so cringy? Like, come on. Okay, so Liu Association South Section 4, Ryoshu. 3 to 7 speed, average. -1 defense level, which is fine. Pierce weak, that's all of the Liu. And 180 HP is about average nowadays. Start off with passives. First off, Flame Spread, 4 Wrath owned. When this unit defeats an enemy with burn, apply 4 burn to one random enemy with no burn or with the least burn potency, once per turn, in focused encounters to one random part. Very mid. Like, this isn't even mid, this is just a bad passive. At pretty much everything that revolves around killing an enemy, unfortunately, most of Ryoshu's passives are never going to be good. And then the support passive, Spread Flame. When one ally with the lowest speed defeats an enemy with burn, inflict 3 burn to a random enemy once per turn, and focused encounters on one random part. Also very mid. Defense skill is just an 8 to 13 guard, which is the default, and guards are still bad, so they don't mean much. Now to her skills. First off, All Out War, Slash Gluttony, 3 to 11 with 2 coins. If the target has 6+ burn, Clash Power +1, and both hits inflict 1 burn. Very standard. Don't know why it's slash. So that's... Ryoshu is the odd one out in that she has a lot of slash for some reason. Fiery Knife Hand, Wrath Pierce, 4 to 14 with 2 coins. If the target has 6+ burn, Clash Power +1. First hit inflicts 2 burn on hit. Second hit, on hit, if the target has 6+ burn, deal 30% more damage. Very mid. For some reason, the general association skill 2s are always mid on 2 stars. Then skill 3, Flame Cleave, Slash Lust, 4 to 12 with 4 coins. If the target has 6+ burn, Clash Power +1. First 3 hits all inflict 1 burn on hit, and fourth hit, if the target has 10+ burn, deal 20% more damage. She's very Gregor adjacent in that basically all she does is inflict burn potency, but she's not even as good at inflicting burn potency as Gregor. Uptie 4. Skill 1 inflicts an additional burn on the second coin with heads hit, and if the target has 10+ burn, coin power +1, which is way more significant. So this becomes a 3 to 13 instead of a 3 to 11. Skill 2 gets an extra 20% damage on the boost on the second hit, and if the target has 6+ burn, coin power +1, so it becomes a 4 to 16, which is like what you would want on a skill 2 with 2 coins. So that's nice. And then Flame Cleave gets an additional 20% damage on the fourth hit if fulfilling the condition, and 1 coin power if the target has 6+ burn, making it a 4 to 16 with 4 coins. This is going to hit hard, but it's kind of... I don't know, I kind of feel like this might be the worst Liu identity, or it would be if she didn't have access to 4th Match Flame. The guard becomes an 8 to 16 Wrath, which is just okay. Combat passive. When the unit defeats an enemy with burn, apply 4 burn to 2 random enemies instead of just 1. And the support passive does the same, just an additional enemy. I am going to uptie this because she's part of the Liu, and I need all of them at uptie 4, but yeah. I don't feel like she's that good of an ID. I believe that if you're going to run a burn team, she's probably the second team member you drop after Honglu. Honglu you drop just so you have more burn count infliction because of his support passive, but Ryoshu you would drop because you just don't need her if you already have Greg. I did debate on whether or not I wanted to get to uptie 3 to show what uptie 3 did. But I have this thing in my inventory called Identity Takeoff Ticket. And if I continue to review stuff like the way I've been doing, there is literally no way that I will ever be able to use this optimally. So, in order to get it out of the way, I'm just going to use it now, because there's really no purpose in saving it, since this is going to be the ID I use the most out of probably everything. As a result, I'm not going to be going over it at uptie 3. This is the only instance of this ever going to happen in one of these, and it's exclusively because I don't want to feel like I'm wasting the Identity Takeoff Ticket. And so I'm sorry if you were looking forward to hearing my thoughts on uptie 3, but since it's a Liu ID, you're probably going to want it at uptie 4 anyways for the burn stuff. Come on, Ishi. This way, this way. Phew. Director, we've been running from one restaurant to another for the last 4 hours. Not Director, Rodia. Rodia, come on. Are you going to keep giving me that cold shoulder? Rodion. Well, that's an improvement, I guess. I'll take it. The child sighed with a pleasant smile on her face. She produced a snack from one of her paper bags and popped it into her mouth. It was quite obvious from the rows upon rows of shopping bags and food wrappings hanging from her arms that the child has been on a gastro adventure for a good while. Ooh-een! Rodion, please chew first before speaking. So, then. So, how long are we going to be doing this? Tap. The other child stopped dead in her tracks, her hands deep in her pockets. She exhaled loudly with audible irritation, then glared at the child. You stopped by this corner's ham-ham-pang-pang for their limited-time dumplings. You picked up a big pack of 20 or so of their freshly fried membosha, and green grapes, tangerines, or strawberries. The child very quietly yet casually muttered these 3 words as the other child looked like she was about to go on a rant. I'm sorry? Pick one, Ishi. Green grapes, tangerines, or strawberries. The child's eyes flashed as she lightly shook the white paper bag. That flash in her eyes were that of confidence. Seriously, if you think you can bribe me with food. I've known all along, Ishi, that you've been watching this bag of tanghulu all along. Come on, I'll let you have the first dibs. Oh, and we'll stop by a beef bowl place later. How's that? I'll take the tangerine. Well then, here it is. Enjoy. The child's wit could always be relied upon to appease her fellows. Not just in situations like these, but in many other possibly contentious situations as well. Even in situations with a fight would have broken out under a less capable director, she always managed to calm things down between members of Section 4. Maybe the Liu Association is known to be more family-like because they tend to assign directorial positions to children like her. Of course, Liu's directors may fall slightly short behind directors of other associations who have been picked solely for their combat prowess. But her sociable nature wasn't her only merit that gave her the position of a director. Huh. She stands alone, facing off against the enemy leader one-on-one. She intends to impale him with the tip of her open hand. This indicates 2 things. 1, the enemy's lackeys won't get in her way. 2, her subordinates were shaping the battlefield as per her orders to ensure that she gets a one-on-one against the enemy leader. TAD... Oh, that is Ryoshu. My bad. Don't know what that stands for. Director, don't we need to worry about the lackeys? We're handling them as we usually do. Ha! Didn't I tell you to call me by my name? Girl, seriously. The child does not avert her eyes from the syndicate leader, even as she banters with her teammates. Well, if you're gonna call me director, I guess I gotta pull my own weight, huh? The child struck the leader's solar plexus, which had long been weakened after a series of strikes, with the tip of her fingers, and cleanly pierced right through his torso. Well, your boss is dead. Now what? Want to keep going? God damn it. In a large-scale battle involving multiple combatants, the death of the leader often means the death of morale. The enemies began slowly backing away, until scattering and fleeing the battlefield. Whew, another job done. This is how Liu Association handles their larger-scale tasks. The members hold down the enemy grunts and isolate their leader, while the director or a director equivalent takes them on one-on-one. This, however, also means that they may not have a plan B when their director is defeated. If that happens, then, well, let's not get into that just yet. Thanks. I suppose we will find out when we look into a world with one such tale. Excuse me? Are you foreshadowing future Liu banners, BM? I'm not going to complain. I like the Liu. They're the best association. They would win in a fight against any of the others, certainly. Okay. Now, because we're starting in up type 4, these stats are going to look very strong. Starting with the skills, the passives even. For Burning Passion, 3 Wrath Resonance. Deal plus 10% damage for every 6 burn potency on the target, up to 30%, which is crazy. Combat start, if all enemies have 6+ burn potency, apply 1 Wrath damage up to highest Wrath Absolute Resonance allies in deployment order. In focused encounters, the above activates when all enemy parts have 6+ burn potency. And if the ally is a Liu Association fixer, apply 1 attack power-up. It seems to me like we are going through the stage of the leader of the association gives buffs to other members of the association, which I honestly don't have any problem with. And then the support passive, 1 ally with the least SP deals plus 5% pierce damage for every 6 burn potency on the target, up to max of 15%, which is underwhelming. But why would you use her outside of a... Why would you have her support passive outside of a burn team? Okay. Defense first. It's a 9 to 16 counter with 1 coin. Wrath Blunt on hit, inflict 1 burn. Which is, I mean, it's a counter. Skill 1, Flaming Fists. 2 coins, Blunt Pride, 3 to 13. Coin power plus 1 for every 3 burn on target, up to 2. So this can become a 3 to 15, which is good for a skill 1. Both hits inflict 1 burn potency. We've seen this skill on every member of the Liu. Fiery Knife Hand Combust. Pierce Wrath, 3 coins, 4 to 16. Coin power plus 1 for every 6 burn on the target, so it can become a 4 to 22. Coins 1 and 2 inflict 1 burn count on hit, very important. Coin 3, on heads hit, inflicts 1 burn count. And on hit, if the target has 6+ burn count, apply 3 burn to 2 targets with no burn or with the least burn count. So there's a little bit of burn spreading, and she inflicts count by herself, but you're going to need a whole team to promote this passive, for the record. Then skill 3, Pinpoint Blitz. It's another 4 to 16. Pierce Lust, 4 coins. If the target has 6+ burn, coin power plus 1, so it can become a 4 to 20. And if the target has 6+ burn and burn count, deal 30% more damage. Cool. Coins 1 and 2 inflict 1 burn on hit. Coin 3 inflicts 2 burn on hit. And coin 4, on hit, inflict Wrath Affinity damage equal to burn potency on target, max 30, and reduce target's burn count by 2. This is Tremor Burst for burn, except it deals Wrath damage instead of raising stagger threshold. And honestly, that's what Tremor needs to be good. So, ironically, this is the best Tremor ID, and it needs no Tremor. Her stats are about as average as Ryoshu's, which, I mean, all of the Liu kind of have similar stats. And there's no special sanity on this ID. Other things to note about these. The first thing, obviously, we feel 4th Match Flame. and we feel red eyes. Specifically, this Ryoshu does not perfectly feel red eyes, but it does perfectly feel for the flames, which is important because that's actually good. I should uptie this to 4 at some point. It's a very good ego. Rodion feels her own 4th match flame, which at uptie 4 is AoE Wrath Fragility Infliction. Every single member of the Liu has Wrath skills and Lust skills, so they're going to work well together. Now, the cool thing about the what is this stance? Rodion, what are you doing? I was not expecting that. I need to pick a different fight so that we don't have Ishmael Compulsion always activating. So the idea here, unfortunately, you are basically always going to have to deal with hopeless clashes with the Liu, because they don't clash very well at the start of a fight. But that's okay. We'll deal with it. And if not, I'll re-record the fight. Oh, how does Greg get it in? Okay. Alright. Bruh. Get a Tails. No, Greg. Greg is gonna die, dude. I need to pick a different fight for this team, apparently. Of course, Ishmael's kicking ass, like usual. Didn't even realize I was using skill 3, but cool. This is not going great. And it's mostly because I can't win clashes to save my life right now. That's okay, right? I could not do 3 and 3, unfortunately. We'll have Ego in a minute. This team is... Honglu just got... No, he didn't. That was the enemy. Oh, this guy's getting wrecked. She literally just puts her hand through a dude's chest with that skill. Good lord. So, yeah, as you can see, pretty quickly here, the Liu by themselves are not good enough. They need their ego, they need good support, or you're just not going to get anywhere, unfortunately. Luckily, they just did that. And also, the buffs from Rodion's passive only activate when you have burn on every enemy, unfortunately. Really wish it wasn't the case. Oh, hey, Flame Cleave. But whatever, we'll deal with it, right? It's also partially because I outlevel these goons. And that will always be an issue, huh? And none of them have burned, so there's no point in doing the Wrath Resonance right now. That being said, I will anyways, because it's just good. Alright. Yeah, I'm kind of getting wrecked a little bit. But that's okay, right? Ishmael's at least always reliable. Rodion's gonna always be reliable as well, but for other reasons. And it's not like it's actually difficult to get burn on every enemy, because there's a lot of burn spreading here too. Building a burn team, you're always going to want to leave Honglu on the bench, because his Sin Affinities just don't help this team to begin with. Like, right now, as you can see, he's kind of just dying. Which is exactly what I expected to have happen. They need to have, like, a proper team. I don't know if this even triggers. Nope. You need every enemy to have burn, and that's very restricted in human fights. Not very restrictive in abnormality fights, though, because abnormalities typically are easy to target. I'm still gonna get this under 10 turns, just you watch. Get him, Greg. This isn't even gonna kill, but that's okay. I think the ideal team would be Merceau, Ishmael, Rodia, Greg, and then Magic Bullet Otis, and N-Corp Faust, I want to say? Those seem to be the best candidates for that. Alright, you ready for this? I'm going to inflict Wrath Fragility onto all these idiots. Just because I can. Now, unfortunately, I'm not going to take a huge amount of benefit from it, but that's okay, right? Would have really liked if it had gone first, though. Oh my god, Hong Lu, you're so bad. He's gonna die, like, there's nothing I can really do about it. But this is the ego that is kind of just designed to work in this team. Wrath Fragility, that's also a lot of burn, I should mention. But Wrath Fragility for the next turn is just really good in any situation. Even if you're not even running a full Wrath team, 3 Fragility is nothing to scoff at in any situation, right? Also like how Merceau just hasn't taken any damage. Like, he's taken damage, but he's not losing flashes at all and not getting staggered because he's just reliable for some reason. It doesn't even make sense. His rolls are not very good. Okay, and of course, we have our other ego. We have the very cool Ishmael Capote. And the very cool Merceau Capote. Which is even funnier. And we can trigger a big Wrath Resonance, even though it doesn't actually activate anything. Because Ishmael's Capote does a very cool thing called inflict 1 wrath damage up to all units. And so, also, for anyone who hasn't seen this animation, it's very cool. Okay, it's cool when the giant pink square doesn't show up. I don't remember that happening before. But that is new. I've certainly not seen that one. When did that start happening? Nobody's used this ego's overclock ever. I think that's the issue. Oh yeah, that's how you get burn on everybody, by the way, is just using that skill. I mean, in all things considered, we still beat it in 10 turns. Hopefully. If I get some unlucky clashes here, it might not be the case anymore. Yeah, Ishmael's Capote is a very useful ego just for this team. But yeah, prepare to see me using Liu Rodia a lot, because I just really like that ID. It's like N-Corp Rodia, if N-Corp Rodia was good. Oh, probably part of the issue here was I was level 30 on half of my IDs. Don't worry about that. The damage, somewhat predictably, was Ishmael and Rodia led. Then Ryoshu, I suppose. And then Hong Lu did not deal a single point of damage the entire fight. This is why you leave him behind. He is just useful for his support passive, which is just more burn count. Stop blanking and just accept it. I'm so glad the word isn't cream. It's creamer. What, need some blank? Yeah. And then fire and resist. Oh, okay. Well. Stop wailing! Hold on. That's so perfect. That is so perfect. Anyways, yeah, that's it. By the time you see this, I will be on spring break. The day that this video goes out, I will likely be writing the script for the Pride Mono-Sin run, because I have to do that at some point. I didn't get it out this week because midterms, mostly. So I was busy with that. But I am, in fact, on spring break for a week, and I'll see if I can't do something cool in that time, but I'm not going to make any promises. I might stream some Balatro a couple days, who knows? If I would be doing that, I'd probably start on Sunday. But aside from that, I don't really have anything planned. So add me if you want to test out Rodion. I'm assuming most people are going to have Ryoshu, just because of the banner's existence. And I would like to thank you for watching, and I hope you have a great rest of your day and a good weekend. Bye!